welcome to DMG's Mock Draft 2.0. We're doing a post Senior Bowl mock draft, and we're going to do this basically how we think the mock draft will go based off of what the team should do or what we think they should do. But with all that said, how are you guys doing today?
Doing good.
Oh yeah, doing great.
Good, good. All right, so we put together this little mock draft here. We're gonna kind of go through these. We're not gonna go super in depth, but we have done that in the past, so you can check out our previous mock drafts if you want to hear more about these players. But starting off, we got the Jaguars with pick number one.
Um, Make sure to subscribe, like, comment on the video. Who do you think your team should pick?
Yeah.
Let's do it.
So I already previewed this pick here, but we got Evan Neal out of Alabama.
I'm kind of leaning towards more of them protecting.
Trevor Lawrence, yeah,
Yeah.
100%. I think that's their go option right now. Probably the most important part of this draft coming up for them. I think they got to go ahead and get the best guy available for it. So, Evan
Yeah.
Neal, yeah, I think that would be a good option for them at that number one spot. I think that's where he arguably belongs. So,
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, so that one's going to be arguable for a lot of different players, but right now that's where we feel the best at. Number two, though, we got Detroit Lions taking the boy out of Michigan, Aiden Hutchinson.
got to keep that boy in Michigan.
Oh, yeah. Gage, your thoughts?
I think he's the best edge in the draft. After doing a lot more film review, um, I'm kind of falling on Kayvon a little bit from like guaranteed number one. I just think Aiden Hutchinson is a he's a great player, and they need that on
Yeah,
their defensive line. And really, it's just best player available. They're talent deficient. Just pick up the talent and go.
yeah. Yeah, no, I think this is one of those ones that's best player available. I think he fits that bill. So,
Yeah.
number three, though, Houston Texans taking our boy Ikem Ikwanu, Sticky Icky, out of NC State. Think this is one where you look at Laramie Tunsil and basically the whole position that that offensive line is in right now. As they're in a tough position. As a Colts fan, I'm happy about that, but I'm not happy with them taking Nicky here. He's a beast. He's mean, and he wants to put people in the dirt. So
Oh yeah.
you put him anywhere on the tackle position, and he's gonna do a lot of damage out there.
I think that around the combine, you can start seeing a lot more people thinking that he's better than Evan Neal. For me, I'm just waiting until the combine, but I do like him. I think he's my favorite tackle.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
and
agree.
he still has upside too, which is just scary. But
Yeah.
moving on, we got number four, New York Jets selecting Kayvon Thibodeau. I think this is one where you look at this and you say, okay, well, you got Robert Saleh saying I need a piece on that defensive line that I can coach up, I can put into a position to succeed from start to end. And I think KT definitely fits that bill for Saleh. I think that's a dangerous piece right there.
He's got athletic ability, a lot of it. Pair him up with Quinnen Williams and another really dominant defensive tackle and the Jets that they have, and that'll help him help him out quite a bit. Can't speak
Yeah,
today.
I mean they're still expecting Carl Lawson back after not seeing him from their big purchase
Yeah,
this past offseason. But Thibodeau is a player that even if you have someone already in that position, you can create space on the field for him.
Expe-
So
yeah, especially since he's fallen in this scenario to them.
yeah, there's a chance that people start to like other edges more than him. But right now with Salah and what he's able to do with edge prospects, I think Thibodeau's going to be a home run out of the ballpark kind of pick. So I like that for them. Number 5, we got the New York Giants taking probably the biggest unicorn of this draft.
Yeah, he's a different cat for sure.
Yeah, Kyle
He's
Hamilton.
crazy.
For you guys that don't know yet, he's a 6'4" safety. He's more of just a 6'4", put him wherever the hell you want on the defense, and he's
Yeah.
going to make some magic happen for you. So we honestly lean towards going offensive line here initially, but with the kind of freak athlete that he is for his size and position, it's just something that you can't really afford to miss because it
Yeah.
doesn't happen every year.
And in all honesty, like you should not be drafting a position because that's the position you need. Just draft whoever is the best available, and he might honestly be the best player in the draft general. So
Yeah. And I mean, you typically can fill your needs in free agency, and we're assuming that
yeah,
the Giants are going to spend a little capital in some of those places. But yeah, I think Kyle Hamilton is going to be scary in that defense. Don't compare him to Jamal Adams and anyone else. He's just not the same guy. So no, I really like this one. But moving on, we got the 6th overall pick with the Carolina Panthers. They are taking the first quarterback off the board. Staying in Carolina, got Sam Howell. And I know that any quarterback pick is going to be polarizing, but Sam Howell provides something that not a lot of quarterbacks have done, and that's just consistently being able to throw the ball anywhere on the field and looking really good while he's doing that as well.
yeah. I mean, he looked really good in the Senior Bowl practices from all reports and clips that have been shown. And he struggled though in the actual game. He got strip sacked twice, which
He
is
did.
not a great look. But
Yeah. To be fair,
um,
that offensive line was getting taken advantage of that whole drive, and that was just kind of a matter of the time, time for that line to give up that sack. But yeah, I think Howell, like what we were just saying, like you don't necessarily take need, but when it comes to quarterbacks, that's kind of just the exception to the rule. Is when you need a quarterback, you got to take care of that.
and unfortunately for the Panthers, they're in a awful situation. So
Yeah. And they
what you
might
gotta
trade
do.
down if someone feels like another player has fallen. They might be able to trade out of this position. But
Hmm.
I
if
think
we're
that's the
taking a
story of this.
quarterback, huh?
I think that's the story of this draft. Is I want to trade back, and I
Yeah.
think every team can say that happily,
Yeah.
and it'd be
But
pretty fair.
I think with the Panthers, you get someone that you can run your offense right away. Matt Rule does not have the longest leash anymore. This is someone that you can put in and trust a lot sooner than most of these other quarterbacks. So I think that's why we went with that one. But with the 7th overall pick, the New York Giants are swinging again, and they get their guy. They get their protector, the offensive line piece that they have been clamoring for. Charles Cross is phenomenal. He has a lot of pass experience in Mike Leach's offense at Mississippi State, one of the more pass-heavy offenses, and he does not show many weaknesses at all. So he's a beast physically and just technically in the game as well.
He's a younger guy. He's really big, 6'5", 310. Um, and he's shown improvement every year, which is what you want to see from linemen. And he went from allowing 44 pressures on 574 snaps on pass blocking snaps to allowing only 16 pressures this last year on 719 attempts. Like you said, Mike Leach's passing offense, and that's against SEC players. So,
Yeah.
he's really good. This is a good tackle class.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
there are some people that have Cross ahead of other tackles as their number one pick, but that's just what your flavor is. I think Cross is just way more experienced in pass, but I think this is a home run for the Giants as well. All right, moving on. Number 8, we got the Atlanta Falcons selecting Sauce Gardner out of Cincy. Think it fits color scheme wise,
Oh
but
yeah.
you also get just a lockdown beast next to AJ Terrell.
Yep.
You get one step closer to that Legion of Boom that everyone covets producing again, and he's a beast through and through.
He's what you want in a corner. He's 6'3". He's tall. He's long. He hasn't allowed a single touchdown in his career, not just like this last year, like since he started as a true freshman until 3 full years. I don't care what conference you're in. That's
Impressive.
some crazy amount.
Oh yeah,
And this season alone, he took it to another level, and he only allowed 96 total yards on him in
yeah.
coverage.
Just
He's my cornerback one.
Yeah.
yeah, he's
100%.
everywhere. Yep.
Yeah.
And number 9, going to Denver. Not a long trip for Devin Lloyd out of Utah. This is going to be a pick that I think we're assuming Broncos take a veteran quarterback and not have to worry about this in the draft. And when you do that, you pick arguably one of the best linebackers. Nakobe Dean's in the conversation, but Lloyd's got the size and frame that's becoming more of the modern day linebacker. He covers tight ends, which when you're facing Kansas City, I mean, that's something that you're going to have to just deal with. So I think this is a good pick. I really, really like Devin Lloyd.
It's also about scheme, and the Denver Broncos have always valued linebackers quite heavily. And this last year, they had a ton of injuries, and it took a huge toll on their defense. So just getting another young guy in there, it's a position of need for them, and it's something that they value a lot. I can see it.
Yeah. Okay. Number 10, New York Jets take Drake London. And Mike and I, when we were discussing this pick, really felt that Drake London fits the ideal body type of a wide receiver that Zach Wilson's going to want to throw to.
Yeah.
In college, Zach Wilson threw to a lot of big bodies with big target range, target radius, and the Jets just don't have that. I mean, you got what's his face from Tennessee, Davis.
Corey Davis
is a
yeah.
big. Corey Davis is a big body, but he's more down the field. Drake London gives you that third down. You got to have it kind of guy with Drake London, and he has upside with pass blocking or run blocking as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was stumbling there.
No, you're good. It was kind of between him and Garrett Wilson because he was still on the board, but I think Garrett Wilson's kind of like some of the other receivers that they have. And,
Elijah Moore.
Yeah, like Elijah Moore. And I think Jake London just gives them that more, not to say X factor, but like an X factor type to the different types of receivers that they can throw out there when they got the ball. So I think it'll benefit Zach Wilson in the long run, having Drake London over Garrett Wilson.
Yep,
Yeah,
100%.
Think either or are just fine for
Yeah.
them.
So moving on to potentially the next polarizing pick with Washington Commanders taking Desmond Ritter. And we know we're going to potentially have people asking about this in the comments. Just want to address this is something we feel like is going to be a better fit for the Commanders because you have Riverboat Ron. He's same boat as Rule, where they're not on the longest leash anymore. They need to get their guy. I think Desmond Ritter's offers you the most right away, and he has a lot to like, especially with his size, with his mental and everything like that. The biggest thing is solving why his short range passes has been inaccurate and inconsistent. So I do think that Desmond Ritter can be a very good fit here for the commies.
I know a lot of people kind of broke that down to his throwing mechanics or something, but I mean, if you take a look at Josh Allen, he completely changed his whole throwing mechanic, the way he went at it. So I think Desmond Ritter kind of reworks his progression there with his mechanics. I think he can end up being one of the better quarterbacks in this draft. I mean, he's got a lot of upside. There's a few negatives, obviously, but he fits the bill with his build on an NFL quarterback. He's built like a NFL quarterback. He's what 6'4", 215 or something.
Yeah,
That's not that that's what you want.
yeah,
He played really well during the Senior Bowl. That's kind of why we're leaning with that. He showed that he can play under the center and run play action pretty fluently, pretty easily. So I I can see any of these quarterbacks going in the first round. I just don't like any of them going in the first
Yeah.
round. But in a
yeah.
launch situation, you're kind of SOL. So
Yeah. And I just think this is the least risky gamble, and you get someone that can go in right away and get the ball to Terry McLaurin
Yeah.
essentially. So
yeah, it was between
um,
him and Matt Corral is who we were
yeah.
thinking. So
And obviously, you guys are gonna say whatever you want. That's what this year is what your flavor is. So, moving on though, number 12, we got the Vikings taking Derek Stingley, their prized cornerback that they have not had in a long time. And the colors already fit.
Yep.
He's ready made, and the Vikings are going to get a very solid cornerback that plays like a wide receiver running routes, in my opinion. And he's had some injuries. He's had some stepping stones or stumbling stones in his way, but just the caliber of athlete that he is and the caliber that he has already shown makes you hope that he's going to get back to that. And the Vikings offer a good opportunity for him too.
Yeah, I think this is a good pick for them, especially because that's where they lack pretty heavily at. So I think they get
Oh,
Go ahead, Gage.
go
No,
ahead,
go ahead.
Mikey.
No, you're good. You're good. Go ahead.
You're just gonna say you're like a position of need. I mean, all three of their starters right now are all free agents.
Yeah.
You have cap space problems, so they're not gonna be able to sign them all back.
Yeah.
I
if
think
it wasn't, oh sorry,
I think with him, his problem is he's a junior, and his best year was his freshman year by far, and it's been pretty like average compared to that since
Yeah.
then.
yeah.
So
And to be fair, that whole LSU team has taken large steps back from their championship season where he was playing
yeah,
phenomenal. So, he's not guaranteed to be this bona fide star, but you get someone with that kind of ceiling rather than going with someone that has a little bit of a higher floor, more what you can do. So, really like this pick.
Mm-hmm.
But do you want to take this one away? Pick number 13, Gage?
sure. We got the Cleveland Browns taking Traylon Burks. He's my boy.
Dope.
I have Garrett Wilson and Traylon Burks 1A, 1B. It depends on each. I have been really heavy on Traylon Burks. I've slowly been growing more accustomed to the idea of Garrett Wilson, but honestly, this guy's a freak. He's huge. He's fast. Let me pull up like his actual stat. Like it's crazy. Yeah, he's 6'3", 230, and the dude just pulls away from people. He can run a lot of routes. He rounds them, which I think is like his only problem is he's not super crisp on his routes, but he gets open. He has a great catch radius. Go watch the Alabama game if you don't have any faith, and then there you go. That's it.
And watch all of our other previous mock draft talks and everything. We definitely talk about Traylon Burks a lot. So,
Yeah.
He's my boy.
you can go find a lot more information. So, pick number 14 is Gage's favorite rival, the Baltimore Ravens, taking George Karlaftis. One thing with George Karlaftis, I'll start this one off, but George Karlaftis is not necessarily your most speedy edge rusher, but he's probably one of the most prepared rushers when it comes to getting after the quarterback, but also knowing how to get around the tackle without depending on physical abilities. Uh, Karloftis could potentially go a lot higher than this. That's definitely a possibility here. Ravens are just going to take the best player available, and I think this is that guy for him.
This is a player that if the Raiders or Ravens get is gonna succeed very well. I think he fits their scheme better than a traditional 4-3. I think that's his playing body size. I think that's good for him. I just wouldn't be happy if the Ravens got him. So that should answer that.
Yeah. Obviously, you want a little bit more toolsiness out of him, but without that, he does everything that you can ask him to do. So, really like that pick. Moving on, number 15. The Philadelphia Eagles kick off their first of many picks in this range. Going Garrett Wilson, which Gage just said is a 1A, 1B caliber wide receiver. I think we all agree with that analysis on him. He is the king of separation for this class. He does everything. He's just the all-around guy right now. And Eagles need bodies in that position. This is a mile difference pick than Jalen Reagor. So I think Jalen Hurts is going to love this pick, and I think all of Philly is going to be shouting in the subway system and everything. So your guys' thoughts?
This will make Eagles fans really happy. I think there's like a 2% chance that this even remotely close to happens. I really don't think that he falls outside of the top 10 to 12.
No.
But they'd finally have a good receiver with Devontae. That'd be 2 years in a row of not screwing up wide receiver picks. And the guy's really good.
Yeah, they might
completely agree.
They'll get one right again.
Yeah, so pick number 2 for the Eagles. We got Nakobe Dean here, which I think we're leaning we're debating between offensive line and this pick here. But Nakobe Dean is the next best at his position rather clearly. He's just on a different tier than the next linebackers that come off the board. He's very smart, great pass rusher from the linebacker position. He's always in the backfield. He's sideline to sideline is very good. Just the biggest difference with him and Devin Lloyd's height. But he's a 1A, 1B type of linebacker as well. And Eagles need that position filled. And if they don't do that in free agency, look for them to take a Devin Lloyd or a Nakobe Dean if they can get their hands on him.
And then I'm sure many people have seen the clip of his like leadership thing that he did in the college football playoff final championship.
Yeah.
And that like it sounds stupid, but it does matter. Those kind of qualities do matter in the locker room. And the Eagles on defense are rather old, and a lot of their guys have 2 to 3 years left. And bringing this guy in that has that ability, and then he can take over as well. I like him. I think he's one of my favorite players in this draft.
Yeah. And I mean, that's goes to why maybe the Broncos might even take Nakobe Dean 9 overall. So he's going to be ranging all over the draft, just like he's rangy on the field. So we'll see where he actually goes. But Eagles love this pick. Moving on to the Chargers. This pick always gets me back. Jordan Davis is most common spot in mock drafts right now is hero of the Chargers. I think it's between either him or the likes of a Devontae Wyatt or maybe some of the other players if they happen to fall down here. But this answers all the run stopping questions, at least for a huge part of it. This dude is huge. He's a beast and is going to take a lot of attention from the offensive line.
Yeah, like you said, it's between him and Devontae Wyatt. I just personally think, like, with the style that I would like to run, like on defense, I think he's got more potential than Devontae Wyatt does for what the Chargers need him for. But I mean, you can make a case for either one of them. They were the worst run
Yeah.
defensive team in the NFL last year, and you can't do that. Anytime anybody wanted to run the ball, they got 5 yards. So you can't let that happen.
Yeah, and that makes it a whole lot harder to beat the Chargers too when you have to compete with them pass for pass. So I think this is a good pick for their future and everything.
Yeah, I like it a
Uh,
lot.
moving moving on to New Orleans, they're going with to quote Mike here, Slant Boy 2.0.
It's just not
Chris
true.
Olave. It's not true. It's
No,
not
it's not
true.
Just
true at all.
awful.
Chris Olave,
Awful.
he has a lot more tools in his bag. He is he's arguably one of the better wide receivers of that Ohio State offense. They're just flooded with talent right now. Chris Olave has been doing it for a long time though. He's he's kind of the number two to the 1A 1B conversation with Ohio State wide receivers,
Yeah.
but great hands, great separation. I think he's just a step behind Garrett Wilson in a sense,
Yeah.
but nonetheless, he's very deserving to be a or a first round wide receiver.
100%.
And and then you can see his value go up a lot if he runs a really good 440 time, which
Yeah,
people are speculating 4.3. So if that's the case,
it'd be shocking. Yeah,
yeah,
in a
we'll
good
see.
way.
Yeah.
Not surprising, but just like wow.
Just the way he runs, though, he makes it look so effortless when he's running, and he is quick, and he will make people miss too. I like Chris Olave here to the Saints, so he's a good pick for him, and they love their Ohio State wide receivers. So
Yeah. All right. The next pick here is the Eagles, and this is where we swung with the offensive line. It's Tyler Linderbaum. I think he's a guy that may not even end up in this draft position right here. He could also go a lot higher than he is right
Yeah.
now, but with the position the Eagles are in, locking up a center, they can keep Landon Dickerson at the guard position and just make their offensive line that much younger. With the expectation Giggs and Kelsey's not back on the Eagles. If that's the case, this is a home run pick for him. Tyler Linderbaum's unreal at the position, and this is a steal with the given spot.
yeah,
I think talent wise, he's got a very easy path of potential to all pro center. And if Kelsey does come back, he can still be an above average starter at guard as well until that happens. So you can never go wrong beefing up the line even more, especially when you guys like to run the ball the way that the Eagles do.
Yeah, that's completely fair. Steelers landing yet another quarterback. They're going to happen. The first round quarterbacks are going to happen this year.
yep,
Malik Willis has been rumored, especially because of Mike Tomlin's hovering of him at the Senior Bowl.
hardcore
Um,
hovering.
yeah, I think that's a player that Mike Tomlin would really love to have. Obviously, we've talked about Malik Willis having not a lot of proven quarterback, NFL ready type of play. But he's got wheels. He's got a cannon for the arm, probably one of the strongest arms in the draft right now. And the Steelers, out of most organizations, are great at getting the most out of their draft picks. Doesn't mean that they're always making the right draft picks, but Malik Willis going here is probably the best spot for him, given
Yeah,
the relationship that he could have with Mike Tomlin. Um, I still am not sold on Malik Willis, but
no, I'm not either.
the toolsy stuff is enough to say, okay, let's take this gamble. We don't
Hmm.
have Big Ben. We're finding that franchise guy, and he could go here.
And
I wouldn't
What?
want them to draft Malik Willis. because I would not put my money against the Steelers developing great players. So
Yeah.
I would prefer not to see that.
If I'm anyone in the AFC North, I want them to roll with Mason Rudolph.
Yeah, it would not be fun to go Joe Burrow, and then you have Lamar Jackson running around, and then you also have Malik Willis running around 6 times a year. That would just not be fun. So
Yeah, that's a lot of rush 3 and drop 8 right there. But moving on, we got the Patriots taking Chaboy.
Jameson Williams, baby. That's my dog right there. I love that guy. He's so good.
We really
man.
like Jameson Williams.
I like
If he
Jameson
can-
Williams.
If okay, sorry, restart. If wide receivers tend to start falling, I can see Jameson be the one to kind of rise because everyone knows what he has put on tape is great.
yeah,
It's the injury that's kind of shying people away from swinging on him early. But if, say, Olave is not looking so bright, and Drake London's not looking so bright and stuff like that, you can see Jameson Williams take a rise just because he has already proven a lot on the field this last year.
Yeah.
Yet again, he's another Ohio State wide receiver, so that's kind of
Yeah, he
annoying.
is.
But
I can see I can see a good fit here with the Patriots. He's kind of what we're looking for. Outside guy, deep threat guy. He can also run those crossers. Gets open. He can make people miss. He's probably, arguably, the fastest wide receiver in the class too. He's not small. He looks small just because of his frame, but he's 6 foot, like 190, I think, or 195. So he's not terribly small, but he can jump with just about any DB he wants. He's insane. I hope he can recover from this ACL, and I hope he also lands here at 21 to the Patriots because he's exactly what we need.
yeah. All right, moving on. We got the Raiders taking Kenyon Green. And this isn't the sexy pick for the Raiders. We all understand that. But Kenyon Green is an animal. And the Raiders you got to just add more talent to that offensive line.
Mm-hmm.
You got Derek Carr looking fine. You got some wide receivers that you're able to put in front of Derek Carr.
Yeah.
Getting Kenyon Green, he's going to answer a lot of, not a lot of questions, but a lot of issues that the Raiders have had, and just gives you a very, very valuable piece at the offensive guard spot.
Yeah, he's not the sexy pick, but it's what has to be done. And when you have Hunter Renfrow and Zay Jones, I think you're looking all right there. And you have Josh Jacobs coming out of the backfield. I think you're all right on the offensive weapons for sure. I think Kenyon Green can come in and give you exactly what you need on the offensive line to keep helping and keep growing that offensive line. And I think the Raiders get themselves a good guy here for sure.
Yeah. And, I mean, it's going to make things easier for Josh McDaniels over there in Oakland. Just, Patriots have always had great offensive linemen. I think this is going to be a phenomenal piece for him.
Yep.
So, moving on, we got the Arizona Cardinals going Ojabo out of Michigan, which he was on the other side of Aiden Hutchinson this year. He completely showed out, and he's got all the tools that you ask for out of an edge prospect.
Mm-hmm.
Arguably can go a lot higher than this, depending
Yeah.
on way people see him. But Cardinals need, young talent at that position. Ojabo is going to get that job done for him, and he is really quick, and he's got a lot to work with.
Yeah. I like to pick here for him. It's either this edge or offensive lineman, but with the offensive lineman that have already kind of been off the board, I think you can look later in later rounds to get some guys that can fill those gaps, and I think you kind of go with the best available for especially if he's still on the board for what you really need. And I think they get themselves a good player here in David Ojabo.
Yeah. All right, Cowboys going Jermaine Johnson out of Florida State. I think this is another guy who you can say he's got tools, he's got potential, and he's got enough work to place him in the first round.
Yeah.
So you're kind of buying into his future a little bit more,
Mm-hmm.
but this gives Micah Parsons a little bit more freedom to play wherever you need him,
Yep.
and yeah, he's a great piece for him.
Yeah, he's a guy that's risen a lot since the Senior Bowl for those performances in practice that he put on. And I think he'll be a scary piece for the Cowboys to get here. Yeah, I don't think you can go wrong with this pick here though, for sure.
Oh yeah, I think Cameron Thomas may be the only other
Yep.
guy I would throw in this conversation.
Maybe.
We swung on Jermaine Johnson because of what he did at the Senior Bowl. So
Yep. So kind of recency
looked-
biased,
he looked-
but
Yeah, he looked better than Cameron
yeah,
Thomas.
he did.
It
So
was kind of he like really stood out.
yeah. All right, sliding on into the next pick, we got Trent McDuffie to the Buffalo Bills.
hate this pick.
Mikey, what do you really feel?
I hate this pick. I don't like it. It's scary, dude. That oh no, if this actually happens, I'm worried, bro. Trent McDuffie is a beast. He's a stud. Just look at him right there, just thugging on him. But no, yeah, he's arguably the best corner at Washington between him and Kyler Gordon. But he's a machine, dude. He's a machine.
Yeah, no one wanted to test him this year.
Yeah.
Passing towards him, he I think only allowed like 16 receptions. Maybe I'm close to that, but yeah, rarely tested for good reason. And slide in next to Tre'Davious White, you
Yep.
got a really really good DB core there, and you can slow a lot of that passing defense that you're going to face in the playoffs. So
Yeah, with Micah Hyde and Porter, is that his name?
Poyer.
Oh yeah, Poyer, and then Tre'Davious White and Trent McDuffie. You got yourself a no-fly zone going right there. I do not want to play that twice a year. I'll tell you that for free.
Yeah.
So
right.
that's a solid pick right there for the Bills. I hate it.
Next pick here is one that I'm not going to really like, but we got Trevor Penning going to the Tennessee Titans. With not really a clear cut, best player available, getting Trevor Penning is something I would hate to see the Titans do because they love to run the ball. They love to have just a great offensive line. Trevor Penning has been a beast. Senior Bowl, he was a beast. You can put him at guard for right now, right tackle for right now, and then whenever I'm spacing out his name at left tackle, whenever he decides to hang it up, that's your guy, and he's a real beast. And I don't want to see him, but I think this is probably one of their best picks that they could have had here.
Yeah, he's mean. He likes to get down and he likes to get dirty. And I think this is exactly what they're looking for, especially with their offense scheme, with running the ball with Derrick Henry a lot. I think he's exactly what you're looking for.
Yeah, he's a variable dude for sure.
Yeah,
he was pissing a lot of
100%.
people off at the Senior Bowl. He was a douche to people.
Oh yeah,
Which is what you want. So
yeah, dude's mean.
All right, Tampa Bay Buccaneers going Jahan Dotson. I think this is a case of potentially losing Chris Godwin, lost Antonio Brown, losing Gronkowski, and you got to have someone to take pressure off of Mike Evans. Jahan Dotson can run a lot of routes. He gets separation, and he's very precise with his routes. And I think that they're going to really, really like having Jahan Dotson. He's going to start off pretty hot right away, too.
I don't think you can go wrong with this pick here. There might be a couple of other receivers that people might put here in a position if they were to take a wide receiver here, but I think Jahan Dotson is kind of more of the all-around guy that's still left here on the board. He can do a lot of things, and he can do a lot of things very well. And yeah, I don't think you can go wrong with Jahan Dotson here.
Especially in an Arians offense too.
Yeah,
Yeah, he's a compliment to Mike Evans.
yeah.
He runs a different route than what Mike would, route tree. So you'll need
Right,
that.
yeah. All right. Getting in the later picks, we got Devontae Wyatt here. He's that other defensive tackle next to Jordan Davis. Jordan Davis took a lot of his shine just because he was the big name going into the season, but Devontae Wyatt is arguably, uh, some people say better, some people say not as good, but Devontae Wyatt's a beast. He's going to be a beast up on that defensive line for a long time, and he's going to open a lot of rushing lanes for other people, and he can stop the run. So
Yep.
I really like Devontae Wyatt. We really like Devontae Wyatt, but
Yeah, I think he'll fit nice with the Packers if he does land here.
yeah.
Yeah, you hit it all basically with him. We talked about him earlier as well. So
Perfect. Sliding on through again, we got Bernhard Ryman. This pick, just if you don't know Bernhard Ryman, he was a tight end 2 years ago. He's still, in a sense, raw, but he did put up a phenomenal season in college at Central Michigan. He's going to take some development in a sense. So you can find a place for him on the offensive line right away, but he's going to be your future left tackle, blindside tackle. He's a beast. He's got the size. He's got the athletic ability to do it all. He just needs to get more technical, and he can do that in Miami.
yeah, he's much better at run blocking than he is at pass blocking, which isn't like a bad thing, and it's kind of something that Miami need with the struggle to run this year. They had one of the lowest run averages per carry. So
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, if he's not blindside, definitely a great option for your right tackle or, run side.
we're also pretty big believers in beef in the offensive line. Having a good offensive line is what it helps a ton.
Yeah, it gives your quarterback
One of the
more
more
time to throw the ball and to actually run
Yeah.
through his progressions.
Yep.
All right, moving on through. Chiefs add Roger McCreary. I think that's something that, they could potentially fill in free agency need wise, but Roger McCreary still is a very smooth looking cornerback. He's got a lot of skill with what he does. I don't think there's as much high end as some of the other cornerbacks that we have seen already go off the board. But McCreary is a stud. He's solid, and it gives another piece in that Chiefs DB room just to kind of fight against the Josh Allens and the Herberts of the world that they're going to be facing in the playoffs. Because really, the Chiefs are just playing for playoffs right now. They're not too worried about the regular season. So
Yeah.
I think this is a great pick.
Yeah, I like this one here. He's a guy that played in the SEC day in, day out, so
Yeah.
playing quality players all the time.
And moving on through the Cincinnati Bengals, we looked at the first offensive lineman and just took an offensive lineman. But on the for real though, Zion Johnson, he showed he was a beast in the Senior Bowl, but he's just an animal when it comes to anything in interior offensive line. Bengals need that a little bit more than they need tackle right now.
Yep.
Still a need, but their guard positions were just abused this year. And Zion Johnson will force a lot more people on the outside rather than trying to attack on the interior. So I like this pick as well. He's the best offensive lineman for this position, though.
Yeah, I mean, it's clearly their biggest need is offensive line. Like it's bad. And I'm gonna find it, but who was it? Is it Spain? Is that the guard?
Wayne? Oh, Spain probably. Yeah, Spain.
Yeah, Spain.
Yeah, he's the guy that just got absolutely, annihilated by Aaron Donald all game.
I mean, to be fair, he does that to a lot of people.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Spain has a way of making everybody look like Aaron Donald when he plays.
That is
So,
true.
he gave up double-digit sacks as a guard.
Ugh.
So he is beyond below starting level, and Zion Johnson comes in and he's already instantly better. So
Yep.
Yeah. Yep. And I mean, the Bengals, to be fair, have put a lot of work on their offensive tackle, and those positions do tend to take a little bit longer to develop. So that could end up being a strong suit here in the coming years. But Zion Johnson is nice. And
mean,
last, oh,
sorry, you've got one starter on that offensive line. You have Jonah Williams,
Yeah.
Isaiah Prince, garbage. Hakeem Ajeni, bad. Trey Hopkins, meh. Quentin Spain was dreadful. Like, it, just beef
And
it up.
Jackson
Go
Carmen
7%.
can still put in some development. I think they had Austin Jackson as well, or is that someone else? But
Yeah, they do.
yeah, no, they need to get whatever they can, and this is it. So, and then to the pick coming from the Super Bowl champions for the Detroit Lions. Thank you, Jared Goff. We got Andrew Booth from Clemson. And this is a dude that he could ended up going a lot higher than this as well. I know I keep saying that, but he is ultra smooth. He's very nice. He's a great tackler,
Very
great
good
boundary
tackler.
corner, and he could go in front of McDuffie. He could go in front of McCreary, but I think if the Lions get him here at 32, that's great.
A lot of people, you got a lot of people that have him like top 2 or 3, and then if you don't have him really high up, a lot of people have him at like 6, 7.
Yeah,
On their
exactly.
level. So he's one of the more volatile players. Kind of just depends on your opinion for how he is.
Yeah.
But the Detroit Lions started all rookies in the secondary, and no, not all rookies, all practice squad players at certain points of the year. So you need some ballers back
Yep.
there.
Yeah, and he's great at getting to the ball too. Like it, I know highlights. Everyone has highlights, but watching his highlights, you can tell that he has just a nose for getting the ball. And any sort of takeaways that Lions get this year is going to be appreciated.
Oh yeah.
So,
No.
yeah, no, I think that about wraps it up. Again, this is post Senior Bowl. We're gonna keep on putting more mock drafts out as we get more information on these players. But if you like this comment or content, give us a like. Definitely drop a comment on who your favorite team is, how we got that pick right or wrong. We're third and wrong here, so that's just the name of the game.
It's what we do sometimes.
And then share this as well. Yeah. Share this. You can share this to anyone that you want. That helps us out as well. But subscribe is free. Also, highly recommended that you do that too.
Yep. All the above.
And we're putting out more content too. We do something called a mock talk. Is where we review other people's mock drafts, and we're going to put out more position rankings. So check those out as we get to them too. But other than that,
Peace out.
deuces.